Hi, welcome back to Cooking with Mrs. Thompson. I'm Karen Thompson, a former food service director dietitian, retired family and consumer science teacher, and cook. Join us as we travel the globe sampling the world's cuisines. Today we're heading back to the Eastern Mediterranean to make a flatbread, and we're going to have two different ways to top it. This is a very easy yeast bread that is going to be your new favorite. It also makes a great pizza dough. So first things first, I've got 1/4 cup of warm, very warm water. It's probably about 110, slightly above body temp, and I'm going to put it into a food processor. I haven't put the blade in it yet. I'm also going to add a tablespoon of honey. You know, honey would be very indicative of the region, not sugar. And I'm also going to add a little noisy there, 2 teaspoons of yeast. And we're just going to let this bloom for a minute to activate. And then we'll be adding the rest of our ingredients. We've got a few bubbles starting to form. That's good. We're going to go ahead and add the rest of the ingredients and get with it. So I'm going to go ahead and put my blade attachment in. And I've got 240 grams of flour. You can use a measuring cup. It's about 1 3/4, but for the most accurate measurements, weighing it's the way to go. So I'm just simply going to add that, plop, along with 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. One other ingredient goes in here, and that is 3/4 of a cup of Greek yogurt. Pulse for about 30 seconds. And it's going to start forming a ball. At this time, my dough is really too wet. Can you see how wet it is? I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of flour. I'm going to put a little bit of flour down and take my dough out. And we're going to knead it a few times. Doesn't have to be kneaded a lot. I'm going to divide this in half-ish and form into 2 balls. Easy peasy. I'm going to cover these with plastic wrap and let them rise till they've doubled in size. While we're waiting for our bread to rise, let's make one of the toppings. I have a pretty large shallot, roughly chopped, a good handful of fresh parsley, and I'm just going to put this in the food processor and process it. I'm going to take it down pretty fine. Now I'm going to add my seasonings. I have 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, 1 1/2 teaspoons of cumin, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Again, we're going to process. At this point, you're not going to over process it, and it's okay. I just want to get everything mixed up. You might need to scrape the sides. Can you see in? All combined. To this, we're going to add about 3/4 of a pound of ground beef. And I'm only going to pulse it 4 times, no more than 4. I do not want to overmix once the beef goes in. It's fairly well mixed. I am also going to add about 1/2 cup of roasted red peppers You buy those in a jar that I have drained. I'm just going to give these a little process. Add them to my meat mixture, and I'm going to mix it all in with my hand. It makes a red pepper puree. I'm just going to add this in. Red pepper puree. And with my clean hands, I'm just going to mix this. All right, it's all mixed in. I'm going to cover it and put it in the refrigerator. Look, the dough has doubled in size. Let's make flatbread. So I am going to take another cookie sheet because I don't have a peel, and I'm going to liberally dust it with semolina flour. And this will help get the bread dough off the baking dish and onto a pizza stone. Okay, I'm going to take half of my dough and put it on the baking sheet. And I'm going to try to get an oval with my hands that's about 6 inches by 12 inches. I'm just going to pull this apart, pinching back as I need to. Okay, roughly 6 inches by 12 inches. I'm probably better at a 1/4 inch seam and measuring. If you're a quilter, you know what I'm talking about. All right, so what we're going to top this with is an olive oil seasoned mixture. I have 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. I've got a really high quality one. I put a tablespoon of toasted sesame seeds in it, along with a tablespoon of za'atar seasoning. That's enough for one flatbread. Double it if you're going to use both on there. So we're just going to spoon this on and spread it out. All right, let's take it to the oven and put it in. My oven has been preheating for a good 30 minutes on 500 degrees. We're going to cook these fast and hot. It should take no longer than 10 minutes, but I'm going to start checking at about 7. All right, we'll see how well my makeshift peel works. Pull that out and get this on. Ah, yeah, we might edit that part out. Okay. This is a new one for me. While the za'atar olive oil is in the oven, let's get the other one ready to go. I've got my dough spread out, and I'm going to use about half of my meat mixture, maybe not quite half. I made a double batch. So we're just going to put this on here and smear it all the way across. Going to straighten up a little bit, wait for the other one to finish cooking, pop this one in. They are done. Mediterranean flatbread, 2 different ways. One with spiced beef and one with za'atar and olive oil and sesame seeds. This one is screaming hot. I just pulled it out of the oven. But I tell you, the smells emanating from my kitchen are amazing. But let's give this a taste. Check it out. That look good? The za'atar seasoning, I can't describe. It's savory. It's so good. It's got the sesame seeds on it, the olive oil. Um, the dough is just pillowy with a nice browning on the bottom and the top. I can see this with a salad. I can see this cut up, plated for maybe a soccer party. I'm in Kansas City, so we're kind of consumed with World Cup that's coming in just a few more weeks. Really, really good. I think you need to try it. The spiced beef one is supposed to be served with onion. Red onion is going to be traditional. I, however, have a hard time eating red onions raw. So I went ahead and I have green onions and a little tomato for a fresh bite. And you can use yogurt or you can use a yogurt sauce. Mine is nothing but plain regular yogurt, no sugar, no vanilla, nothing like that. Some garlic salt, squeeze a lemon, and a touch of hot honey. So I'm going to put some of that on it. And check it out. It's dripping on my hand. I don't know if you can see the steam coming or not, but doesn't that look good? Let's give it a try. It with my hands. Definitely a football party food. This is really, really good. The fresh veg, the yogurt, had a really delightful bite. It's seasoned just perfectly. You can, taste the cumin, the pepper puree in there. It's really good. I think you guys are really going to like these. Give them a try. And remember, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Cooking with Mrs. Thompson, YouTube, Facebook, my two primaries. I'm working on TikTok, Instagram, and a website. I'm just not there yet. But you guys have a great day. And thank you.